Good morning. My name is Mark Wiseman, and it is my pleasure and honor to officially welcome you to the first annual Energy Independence Day, sponsored by AJC Westchester and Solomon Schechter of Westchester. I, along with my co-chair, Dan Singer, are honored by your presence today. The goal of today's event is to bring together the community to learn about the critical energy security issues that face this country and to provide you with resources and information that will aid us all in decreasing our dependence on foreign oil, especially the resources and role models that are right here in our backyard in Westchester. Thank you, Dr. Speaker. Our next speaker is David Harris. For the past 19 years, David has been the National Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee, and he just celebrated his 25th year with the agency. David is a frequent author. He is taking time out this week from his work at the General Assembly of the UN, where he's been engaged for the better part of the last 2 weeks, and he is a native of Chappaqua, or a resident of Chappaqua, and we're very happy to have him with us today. So without further ado, David Harris.
Thank you very much, Mark. David, thank you. Dan, thank you for sharing this. Thank you to Ellie Spiegel for hosting us and for setting an example for all of us. Thank you to our distinguished elected officials for being here. County Executive Andy Spano, Congresswoman Neil Lowy, State Senators, State Assemblymen, and others. And thank you to my colleagues at AJC here in Westchester for organizing this event. I don't want to begin on a negative note, but I feel I have to. In 1973, this country was warned. We were warned in a way that was unmistakable by OPEC, which said to the United States, we're going to hold you economically hostage because of your foreign policy. And at that moment in time, Richard Nixon, then President of the United States, pledged to the American people that by the year 1980, America would be free of its dependence on foreign oil. That pledge by Richard Nixon was followed by subsequent pledges by presidents of both parties in what became a colossal national failure of will, for which there is enough blame to assign to all of us, not just to them, not just to the White House, but to the Congress, with the exception of those on the side of the angels, to institutions, corporations, communities, and yes, to us, each and every one of us. Because when President Jimmy Carter, for all of his other faults, asked the nation to sacrifice, the nation mocked him. We, the pampered, we, the entitled, we, the chosen, America was immune to global forces on energy. We had a right, we believed, to more, to faster, to bigger, to better, to more powerful, without any concern for the consequences for American foreign policy, national security, or environmental status. Shame. Shame on them. Shame on us. Shame on Democratic legislators who, in their concern for labor unions and corporations in their districts and states, protected America from what was inevitable technologically. Shame on Republicans for pretending that America was immune from all of those forces. Shame. Shame on all of us who went to Europe, who saw gas taxes to discourage consumption, who saw smaller cars, who saw better public transportation, who saw better intercity transportation, and then came back and remained silent rather than saying, why there and not here? Why is there a TGV that can take me from Paris to Marseille in a matter of 2 or 3 hours, and we can barely run a train from city A to city B with our anemic national train infrastructure? Shame, shame, shame. Well, now we finally come to understand, I hope, that this is about us, and it's in our hands. And if the Oval Office and members of Congress and state, county, and city officials of both parties don't hear a clarion call consistently, constantly from each of us who, by our own example, say, no, we are not going to send another $70 million, as we did in the month of June alone, to Hugo Chavez, because Venezuela is the second leading exporter of oil to the United States this year, in 2009. Shame. And no, we are not going to go to one of the 14,000 Citgo stations in the United States, because Citgo is a state-owned subsidiary of the Venezuelan National Oil Company. Let's connect the dots. Let's understand the direct line between those who hate us and the war we face. Let's understand, as Tom Friedman once wrote, that this is the first war in history, perhaps, where we are funding the very forces we are fighting. Libya, with its king of Africa, Muammar Gaddafi, strutting the stage of the General Assembly for over 90 minutes, rambling and talking incoherently while foaming from the mouth, can only do so because he sits atop energy resources second to none. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran, can flaunt the UN Security Council, can flaunt the IAEA, can call for the destruction of Israel, can hide enrichment plants, can build ballistic missiles, can buy technology from North Korea and Pakistan, because we fund him. We, the United States, we, the world, and let's remember, oil is fungible. When you put that oil in your gas tank, it doesn't say made in. Oil is a fungible commodity. Let's wake up, America. Let's get serious. Saudi Arabia has funded an estimated $100 billion worth of madrasas and Wahhabi mosques around the world, including here in the United States, funded not by high technology products, funded by our Achilles heel. Our Achilles heel. Our dependence on foreign oil. And mind you, when in 1973 Richard Nixon said his first famous words, we imported no more than one third of our energy needs. Despite his call to the country, today we import nearly 2/3 of our energy needs. Not only have things not gotten better, ladies and gentlemen, things have gotten dramatically worse.